Heyo, Niyama Shang here, and this one's for fun here. I just got done recording a message around my experience of feeling like an imposter syndrome because I'm launching the Trailblazer Oasis program and really calling out new leaders to lead their movement in the world. And when I finished the video, my mind went back to the first ever keynote that I gave. It was in 2015 for a youth leadership program that I was a part of, called HOBie, Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership. I love it. It's one of the things I feel really activated me, and in terms of how I show up as a person. I was going to say as a leader, but it's just like as a person. Because at the end of it, there's a question that they always ask, which is, what are you going to do with it? With all the learnings you have, what are you going to do with it? And I think that's really inspired a lot of why I'm showing up here. And part of the reason why we have the Trailblazer Oasis. It's like, great, you have all this success. Awesome, you have all this privilege. What are you going to do with it? And so all that being said, my mind went back to this first ever keynote in 2015. And I just went into my email to just look it up, and I'm like, what was that? What did I talk about? It was literally called the imposter syndrome. It was actually the foundation where I first uncovered two of the stories that really are part of the life, death, and rebirth of Niyama Shang. If you haven't watched that video, I recommend doing it because it has my full story in there and my journey of being Niyama. And it was the first time I captured those two stories. And so I've shared those stories out there, and they're difficult stories to share. But I also have lived a completely hilarious life as well. And I want to make sure that as we play this game here, you get a chance to see it all. You get a chance to see it all, because I know that my best life is actually one where I'm showing up with my full self. My best self is my full self. So here we go. It just made so much sense given the fact that this story was included in the imposter syndrome keynote. So in the keynote, I had three different legs. It was my journey through the imposter syndrome. The first leg, basically each leg had its own theme. I'll share the themes with you just so that you have it. The first leg was all about start with you in mind. The second leg was about focus on continual improvement and basically iterating your way up to success. And then the third leg was all about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Na. Tasty stuff. Well, and looking back at the presentation I put together, I saw a picture there, and the picture made me think of the picture clued me back into what I shared in this. So in the spirit of continual improvement, I shared about the two-finger handhold. And I love to let you know a little bit more about it right now. You see, back in the day when I was practicing for Nicole, what I mean by that is before my wife and I started dating, I was practicing for her with other people, right, and going on other dates. And there was this one woman who I had a huge crush on. I met her on a random tour in college, and we both ended up being in New York City, and I mustered up the courage to really start something, start talking to her, and it was really quite interesting. It was quite great. At the time, we were throwing parties at our New York City apartment quite regularly, and I remember inviting her to a party that we threw, and because at that time I was playing the game of really getting to know everyone and making sure everyone else knew each other. That's part of where my inclusivity skills were born, in the parties of New York City. I went by and promptly, even though she was the person that I liked, that I had a crush on, I ignored her the entire time. I was like, you're good, you have friends, you're cool, great, I have to go take care of other things. So I completely ignored her the entire time. And I realized that really wasn't the setting for me to start an intimate relationship. So I did something I hadn't really done then. So what y'all don't know about me is you see me as smooth, debonair, has everything together, Niyama Shang. But there was a time beforehand where I really had to build up into that. So she was one of the first people I asked on a date in New York City, and I learned through experience. I learned through iteration. So we ended up having. Sorry, we ended up going on a date to a bar in New York City, and it was really quite lovely. In my mind, it was just like it was everything about it was awesome. And she was telling me about her family and just all the people that were involved and how her parents had really gone on and really extended and grown their family. And I was just like, with every single word, my crust was getting like larger and larger. And I wanted to make sure that she knew that I was into her. Like, I was like, hey, just so you know, even though I'm like so smooth and debonair and but just so you know, like, I'm into you. So I went for my move at the time. And my move at that time was to go for a handhold. It was just a way of just creating a connection. And it wasn't like I was doing it as like I haven't read a book on like the next step is to then go for the handhold. No, it was just more like that was what naturally kept emerging from me. And so I went in for the handhold because that was what was naturally emerging from me. And I heard in the back of my mind my friend's voice who said something to the effect of, dude, you keep like doing this thing where you hold people's hands. You really need to stop that. So I'm in the middle. Like my body is feeling the handhold. So I'm going for the handhold. And then I hear his voice and I find myself caught in between two different places. And what I ended up doing eventually, and eventually being like in that same move there, what I ended up doing is that I actually just grabbed two of her fingers and held on to it with like sweaty palms and everything, trying to convey the deep emotion that a full 5-fingered handhold would have in just two, while also not being ultra awkward and and so on. And the that handhold ended as beautifully as you would think. After a few minutes, she kind of just like slid her hand out, and I was like, "Yeah, that's the right call." We went on 2 other dates afterwards, so that like it was still cool. It did end off though in that area where I was caught in where I wasn't making myself clear and going for what I wanted. It ended with a 2-tap like shoulder tap, like oh, okay, I'll see you later, bye. Yeah, that one's, I can smile now about it, but it was devastating for a long time. And then the next person I dated became my wife. So I bring up this story here because it's fun. It's fun. It was funny for me to even just remember it overall. And it's really a part of the journey, part of my journey. Part of my journey really along the leg of being willing to be an imposter. Just even sharing this story with you right now, I can feel on different levels how important it is for me, because it gives me a chance to show up for you fully, not just as someone who has a powerful message to share with the world and is like really calling out the best in everything and everyone, but as a real human being who goes through real challenges and has really been playing this game in one way, shape, or another for years, as have you. All of your experiences in life, the good, the bad, the hilarious, and the funny, like all of them are an important part of your journey as a trailblazer, and part of the reason why you are uniquely positioned to share your story and to make your impact in the world. Part of the reason why you're uniquely positioned to lead your tribe and help us create a future that looks distinct from what we have right now. It's a fun time. I no longer do 2-finger handholds, but it's all part of the journey, and that iterative approach is probably at the heart and center of what we do with the Trailblazer Oasis. It's a community of practice for a reason. We come in, we get a chance to practice here, and we iterate it out into the world. We get a chance to see all that there. So I've grown beyond 2-finger handholds. I've become a master of multiple handholds. My skills in the handhold department is it's spectacular. It's good. Actually, no, I would say like I'm not mad about it. But in all seriousness here, every part of your journey is important. Every part of what your experience has been in life is uniquely positioned you to make your impact in the world. If you're ready to come out and trailblaze and bring that experience out there to make it easier so that others will have an easier path, or you can make your unique impact in the world, we should talk, right? I love spending my time with this kind of trailblazers and the people who have such rich stories in the world. Even the ones that even the ones that are completely silly. All right, I'm gonna end this here. My name is Niyama Ashong, and I am the leader of the World Joy Movement. I invite you to come and be a part of the Trailblazer Oasis. If you're interested in finding out any more about that, you can go to niyamaashong.com/trailblazer oasis, or just send me a message. I am here to serve. I am looking to surround myself with my peers who are playing this game, and to give us a space to go beyond what most other people have, so we can step out of our comfort zones and into the impact that we're really here to make. If you're down for this game, let's go ahead and play. Here's to being more you each and every day, because you are a gift to the world. Game on.